What is going on, Northwest Arkansas? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of So NWA, your newest podcast, bringing you the stories of the people who make this amazing community what it is. I'm your host, Juan Carlos JC, and as always, I got my brother, my friend, my co-worker here, Enrique. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Every day that I'm awake in our beautiful Northwest Arkansas community is a blessing to me. You know, being able to fill my lungs with air and
Good
be
air.
able to wake up. Good air.
Good air, yeah, good air,
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, blessing overall, man. And I'm loving the weather today. We're actually going to be in the 70s. Can you believe that?
Yeah, no, again, but as we've talked in previous episodes, we'll get all four seasons in a week, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain, and I think Sunday we're supposed to get like half inch of snow. So,
wow, well,
yeah, that's how it is.
It's the fake spring.
It's the fake spring, exactly. But folks, thank you again for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in with us, Enrique and I aren't just podcast hosts. We're also local realtors here in the area. When we're not behind the mic, we're helping our clients with their real estate needs. So, and if you ever have any questions or need assistance, we'd love to help. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We really appreciate it. You can find us on Instagram at So NWA Podcast. But folks, today we have a special guest with us. I look forward to this conversation. I look forward to all our conversations, but with this person specifically, you know, I've interacted with this person for I think one or two times. And actually, I did want to say this. What you're hearing right now, if you'd hear it, is Chewy, the dog that we're dog sitting this week, is actually in the room with us. He's joining us, and he is going ham on this rubber toy right now. So he's just right next to me. If that's what you hear in the background, it's him having a good time. So, but yes, our guest today is a local entrepreneur in the real estate and community spaces, founder of the NWA Patio community, a local networking community whose mission is bringing Northwest Arkansas together one patio at a time. He is the executive broker for Harris Heights Realty in Northwest Arkansas. His wife is the founder and CEO of Just the Beginning, a local nonprofit for girls aging out of foster care. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Patrick Pulliam. There it is.
You got it, bro. Thanks for having me, man. This is exciting.
Dude, that's good. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
And I get to be on the first episode with Chewy as well.
That's true.
There you go.
Dude, yeah, he is here.
All four of us are here.
He is here, yeah. In the past, Chewy, as we've done a few episodes this week as well, he has been in the back in his cage, and you can hear him bark. Well, at least I can hear him barking from here. So he's happy today.
He's meant for bigger things, I'd say. Yeah. Like a podcast. So I'm glad he's out in the open, not being held in the back.
But man, like I said, Patrick, thank you for joining us. Yeah. How's your day been so far, man?
It's been good. I got a slow start. I got to get my kids out the door. It's my oldest son's birthday today as we're recording.
Wow, there you go.
He's 9 years old. I've got 4 kids under 10. So life's a little chaotic, a little crazy, but I got to get them out the door to school. Had some breakfast donut holes to celebrate. Some balloons waiting on him when he woke up.
That's awesome.
They're at school. I'm off to work.
Yeah.
Wife's off to work.
Yeah.
And we're rolling.
Cool, man. That's exciting. It's his birthday, so shout out. What is
his name is Brantley.
Brantley. Okay,
yep, that's
Brantley.
Right.
Happy birthday, brother, man. Your dad's here with us. And,
sir, happy birthday.
And yeah, I'll put him on this episode. He'll enjoy listening to it.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, well, it's funny because yesterday was my dad's birthday.
So nice.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of birthdays right now,
man.
Coming up on March.
My dad's birthday's at the end of the month.
Really?
In about 2 weeks or so.
How old your dad gonna be?
It's a great question. No, I think he'll be
in his 60s?
No, he's probably gonna be like 57, 58, something like that. Yeah. So just right before.
Yeah, my dad just turned 58.
All right.
Cool. And it was funny. I went to go see him after we did our episode last night, and we were in the kitchen, and my dad pulls out his phone and he does his calculator. he subtracts his age to like
the
100.
Yeah.
To the year 100. He's like, oh my gosh, it's only 42 years to 100 years old.
Man. He'll live to 150. He's fine.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I just thought it was funny that he did that. And he was kind of having like a little moment. I was like, Dad, just relax. Like, relax, please.
I got to be honest, as I've as I've gotten older, it does seem like that. You start looking at things different, counting things different.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of a different perspective, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
we're all getting older, dude.
Yep,
every single day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that young or at all. I'm kind of like a little bit in between, I should say.
Sure.
I mean, not middle aged at all. I'm 24. But I look at my brother, he's 17. I'm like, man, what would I do differently if I was 17 years old right now? But hindsight 2020 always. So.
Yeah, it's the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Patrick, how old are you?
26.
26. Man.
26 and 4 kiddos?
That's right.
Damn, going crazy.
That's
I
right.
like it.
But that's,
Moves fast.
It does, but you'll be, you'll be 36. They'll be 20 years old. Hey, son, can you pick me up? Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Hey.
And I'm going to act like an old man. I'm going to make sure they work for me.
There you
when
go.
they're able to drive. Dude, and
I don't have any kids. So if Mike, 20 years from now or 18 years from now, I'll be like 50, I don't know, 56 or something like the 58 when we graduate high school or something.
So I told you guys off pre-recording that the 2 older kids were a package deal with my wife when we met. So obviously I jumped straight in. Obviously it was a calling from the Lord to fulfill the fatherhood spot for these children. And then we have 2 youngers, they're 3, and we have a 5-month-old as well. But time went fast because when I met her, I was a bachelor, and then we met, and then we quickly had a child after that, our third child. So I went from 0 to 3 kids in a matter of maybe 2-3 years, right? So
wow.
it was quick. So
Man.
You think you got time, but
yeah, it's funny.
Time will fly.
That's funny. Man. Well, I'm curious, man. I want to know how has it been like fatherhood for you, right? You went, like you said, you were a bachelor. You went from no kids to 3 kids very quickly, right? I'd say in a matter of 2 years.
Yeah.
How has that experience been for you?
Well, it's been life-changing. I think we all have the calling as men to lead in some way, whether that's our, in our jobs, in our work, in our offices, or in our families, or in the church, or really wherever. So, just brought a whole new meaning to my life. I get the opportunity every day to make the choices of how I raise my kids, what I put them in front of, what they learn from me and my actions and my words. And so, it's everything for me. My schedule has become the most important thing. My calendar has become the most important thing because from the moment we wake up to, getting the kids in the evening and kind of facilitating our entire day, our weekends, our nights, as you know, in real estate, it really doesn't stop. So
correct.
Being able to really piece everything together from work to kids to family has been extremely important. So I think in one of the previous episodes, you guys mentioned your calendars and how you have to stick to your calendar.
Yep.
Very important. Keep doing that because your life's only going to get busier as you grow a family.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that Google Calendar, man, it's been a lifesaver for sure.
Do you use Google Calendar?
I use Google Calendar. If it's not on there, I don't do it. Yeah, I forget everything. So it's pretty much my brain. Yeah, it's pretty much my brain. Google Calendar is
like it's like for me, I'm looking at something where I have my real estate calendar, and then I have my podcast calendar, and then I have my regular job calendar.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to find a way I can merge them. I know you can share them with each other.
Sure.
You got like 3 different brains going on.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So
that's a lot.
It does feel like a lot, but
what about for the periods, the committee? Where do you put that
one? Well, those are set dates. To be honest, they're that first week of the month. That first it's the first Monday and Tuesday of each month. So those are pretty much set. And I do have them on the calendar just so I don't schedule anything around it. I give that time to if I have to get somewhere or
that's preset once a month. Committee meeting, right?
Correct.
P Ridge.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Can you tell us anything that's happening right now in P Ridge that everyone needs to look out for?
As far as what we can say, it's all pretty much on the P Ridge Reps website. But I would say what I'm allowed to say is. We saw the 7 brews coming in.
Yeah.
We approved. Again, this is all public, but new divisions coming in. There's a big one going to come in right by the city hall. That it's going to be multi-zoned. If I remember right.
Very cool.
So that's kind of cool. It's going to have low density, multifamily, and commercial.
Sweet.
On it. So it's going to be pretty cool. Kind of what I always think of. He's over here going.
Chewy.
He went from the rubber
to the water bottle.
To the water bottle. When I think of multifamily and things like that, I think of like Crystal. Oh my gosh, is it Crystal Flats, right? Where they have the coffee shops at the bottom,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yoga. You know, these commercial things, and
Like
then
Pinnacle Heights, where you can
Pinnacle
walk.
Heights,
Yeah,
the
you
new
can
Whole
walk
Foods,
to.
the Whole
Mhm.
Foods that coming in. So I think that's going to be
insane
pretty cool.
building.
For
That's gonna be
Peerage.
cool.
Yeah, that's one. The mayor just
He mentioned what is it, the tractor supply?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
the
what he's
tractor
doing?
supply
I
has
know he
come
said
in
that on
as
that
well,
episode.
which is a big, I think a big deal for a lot of our residents, because obviously the only one is out in Bentonville, but we still have a lot of agriculture here in Pea Ridge, so people can get some of their needs fulfilled there. But the mayor of Pea Ridge just posted on his Facebook that he went down to Little Rock to advocate for the freeway, for the highways. So RDOT, he was
there
having
we
a
go.
meeting with them about it.
So cool.
I thought that was kind of cool as well. So
That would be huge for this area.
oh man,
Yeah.
I would say this: even if they were to start today, it wouldn't even be completed for like I'm gonna go
Like a
with
5 to
I'll
10 year project.
correct.
isn't it?
Take forever.
It would take
Yeah.
5. You got to get all those
Buy
properties.
your real estate now.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once it is completed, let's just say 5-10 years from now, game changer.
No.
Oh, man, Pea Ridge is gonna blow up.
4
if that's the
lanes,
case.
or even if it was 3 lanes with the middle like turn lane or whatever, right? Oh
Yeah.
man, complete game changer. So I'm very curious what that would look like, down a decade from now.
It's exciting.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But Patrick, something we do here is we have these kind of open-ended questions just to get to our audience, to get to know us and our guest. So one of the questions I put on here was, what doesn't exist but should exist?
Oh, man.
It can be it, right? This is just a fun question.
What doesn't exist but should exist? I'm going to take this to my calling to spreading the faith and Christianity, right? It's something that we're doing at the Patio community as well that we'll probably talk about. But what doesn't exist but should be more public opportunities to get together and praise and public. So, and I'm coming at this from a standpoint of, we do socials and events, a lot of event type of things.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I was just talking yesterday to one of our guys about, was how can we do more get-togethers to show public, displays of faith, and whether that's concert series or gatherings and benefiting nonprofits. Chewy, come on now.
Yeah, go back to the rubber ball.
But that's something that doesn't exist, maybe does in some areas, but should at least in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Enrique, what about you? What do you think?
Something that, hold on, I'm trying to hide this toy. I have an idea. I can put it in my bag, but I'll do that in a second. Something, or actually we'll put it on this desk here.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so something that doesn't exist but should, man, a door that can take me anywhere I want.
Oh man,
That's fun.
Like, let's say I want to go, and obviously within legal limits, right? I'm not going to go and use that door and rob a bank or go to the Fort Knox and steal all the gold, nothing crazy, right? But
That reminds me of that movie. Oh my gosh.
Doctor Strange.
No.
That's exact. You're describing Doctor Strange.
Yeah, no. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
well, I'm thinking it more in the sense of like if I want to go on a vacation or something. Like I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to go to like
So
Hawaii today.
eliminate
So
travel.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Make traveling a little bit easier. Something I do.
Yeah.
No, just thinking, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, it'd be kind of convenient, I think. But I don't know what you would pick, Juan Carlos. I mean, if you have an idea.
Yeah. When I saw this question, I said immediately, man, flying cars.
Flying car.
I was like, we need those flying cars. It doesn't exist, but I feel like it should. You guys remember back when like oh my gosh, Back to the Future 2, and they're riding on that skateboard and the
Right.
flying cars. They're like, 2020, right? That was supposed to be.
That's right. Yeah.
So, so I'm like, where are they at?
Yeah.
Where the
Man, you
fuck?
still got
behind,
you still got 95 Civics going for $5-6 grand on Facebook Marketplace, bro. So it's like,
that would be a price tag for sure.
all reliable right there. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Man,
Love that.
just how it is, man. I feel like what's it called? And I saw this online. I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like since like the early 2000s, like the aesthetic hasn't really changed much in terms of like what it looks around us. Like you still have those same older cars driving around.
It's true.
And we're 2025 now. So I don't know when that aesthetic is going to change, right? Because you think of time periods, you think of the 70s, it looks very different. You
Sure.
think of the 80s,
Yeah, it makes
looks
sense.
very different. But from like the early 2000s till now, I feel like it's been not much change, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen that or think about that or what. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dive into this next question. And Patrick here, he mentioned he's got a favorite brand, so I want to know, what's your favorite brand, Patrick? Let us know.
I'm wearing it. I got the hat on, a brand new hat. It's Faux Ficus. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they're a Houston-based cover band, and it's actually my brother Rob and his ragtag group of buddies that perform at different bars and stuff.
No way. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to see them sometime this year, but I've got the hat, I've got some shirts and stuff, and I like what they've put together. So kind of a joke, of course, but I wear their stuff as much as I can, and
I love it, dude.
I like the Faux Ficus. So it's a play on words. The brand Real Tree.
Oh, okay.
Faux Ficus.
I see.
So the opposite, right?
Oh, yeah. I like it.
So
that's cool.
That's
cool.
Enrique,
like it,
what about you, man?
Favorite brand? Man, I don't know if I have one, dude.
I see you wear this.
Ariat?
Ariat.
Yeah. They're a good brand.
Yeah, they're a good brand.
I have a couple of their boots. I have a couple of their shirts, a couple hats.
Mm-hmm.
I like that brand. But I don't know if I have a favorite. It's kind of hard for me to distinguish it. Yeah. I mean, if I like something, I'm just going to wear it. It doesn't matter if it says
True.
Shaq or Reebok or whatever. If I like
Shaqs,
it.
man, that's a throwback.
Shout out,
I had some Shaqs at one time. Absolutely.
My aunt bought me a pair of Shaqs. I remember I was 10 years old and she got me a pair of gray Shaqs. And I ran those down, man.
Oh,
they were like peeling from the bottom of the sole.
I love that you said that. I had a pair of red and white Shaqs when I was young. And since then, of course, Nikes and Jordans and stuff like that. But the Shaqs always stood out to me because I kind of knew that they weren't the most expensive shoe. I kind of knew, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But just having them is kind of an ode to my parents wanting me to get some shoes to hoop in. So
nice.
Takes me back, Yeah. What about you, JC? What do you got? What's your favorite brand?
Dude, I might get canceled.
Oh boy!
Tell us.
Here in Walmart country, I would say Kirkland brand.
Oh snap!
Dude, Costco brand.
You're
bro.
in trouble, dude.
Wow.
Dude, I know, right? I
what more specifically from Costco? What do you?
Oh well, they're Kirkland brand,
right?
Yeah.
What are you getting from?
I mean, besides the products that they have, I mean, I'm laughing in my closet right now. I have a Kirkland sweater that I rock, and I go to Sam's Club.
Yeah,
everyone just looks at me like, "Oh, he's wearing a Kirkland."
Trader.
Yeah. I got. There's no Costco here, man. But honestly, I think that's one of my favorite brands is Kirkland brand, whatever, for home products, even their clothes. Like
you're from California?
Yeah.
So are you a Costco guy before you came here? You're a Costco guy?
Yeah. I'm a Walmart guy.
Okay.
Grew up with Walmart right here because I grew up in Rogers.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in Rogers, but I think and I was aware of Sam's Club, but when I moved to California, Costco just had better products. And now I will say this, Sam's has definitely improved on their products over the last few years. But I mean, I've been going to Costco since I was like 18 or 20, so I always knew they had, like, if I knew I got something from there, I knew it was like legit, and it just was awesome.
Where in California?
We lived in the city of Ontario, which is about an hour from LA east. So it's close to Riverside, close to Pomona, close to Chino Hills, Rancho Cucamonga. So I lived there for basically most of my life. My wife and I, we moved around a few places to like Brea. We lived in Brea for a bit. That's actually funny. We only really lived in Brea and in Ontario for most of our life. But yeah, we moved a few times.
Nice.
Yeah, in that area.
My wife is from Thousand Oaks, the Malibu area.
Yeah.
So I think that's north of LA, but gosh, if I know anything about California, it's pretty much nothing. So,
dude, Thousand Oaks is legit.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah.
So her entire family moved over here. They wanted to.
How do they like it?
They love it.
That's cool. That's cool.
They wanted to get some land and escape whatever was going on in California.
There you go.
So
my wife's from Santa Barbara.
Okay,
so
very nice.
Well, when I used to go visit her. You pass Thousand Oaks to get to Santa Barbara. So
yes, got it.
Nice area, very nice area for sure. One of the nicer areas too.
That's awesome.
So nice, man.
California. I'm not.
Bro, I've never been. So I'm just speaking based off of only what people have told me. I've never been.
Yeah. There's definitely in my opinion, you should definitely go check it out. We're going in June. My brother's graduation.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go in June, and there's definitely things that. How I say, I miss certain things about it, maybe certain restaurants, certain areas that I enjoy a lot. Of course, then we all hear the other parts of California too. But man, it's just something about it. The weather is just amazing. Different choices, different food choices, shopping, entertainment, things like that. Definitely go. And I can give you some few recommendations in what areas. But man, it's a good time if you have a weekend getaway. Do it. But it could be hard, right?
Yeah, of course, there's some hoops to jump through. But my wife and I need to take a trip. We need to go back to where she's from and see some of the sites.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I love it. Yeah. So I want to know, Mr. Patrick, what's going on with you, man? So we know you've been here in NWA for a while, but I want to know if you're not originally from Northwest Arkansas, how did your family figure out this place, or how did you kind of find out about NWA?
Yeah, it's easy. My dad's in ministry. He's been a preacher for many, many years, 20-something years, maybe 30. Jeez. So when him and my mom were together, my dad actually picked up a job in Rogers, a church called First Christian Church, kind of close to downtown Rogers. And I was born in Rogers. So we lived in a house off of New Hope called Bloomfield, the neighborhood called Bloomfield. We drove out our neighborhood. We looked over the vast farmlands of Rogers that are now the Pinnacle Hills Promenade.
Yeah.
So I was pre-promenade, if that dates me at all. But we even have family photos on some hay bales where I think the Lululemon store is now. So
no way, that's funny.
But yeah, so memories from Rogers. Went to an elementary school. When I was 10 years old, we moved to Tyler, Texas, which is east of Dallas.
Okay.
My parents are still there to this day. When I graduated high school, I shipped straight back up to Arkansas. I wanted to be in the Rogers, the area up here. We had visited many, many times, and I knew it was growing. I knew it was an opportunity for me, just as an entrepreneur, to set my sights on a place that had growth mindset and opportunities galore. So I left the oil money town of Tyler, Texas, and jumped ship and came straight back at 18.
Came to the Walmart
world, man. Yeah, for sure. Different worlds, very different worlds. So, and I've loved it ever since. I've lived in Rogers, Fayetteville, Springdale, and Bentonville since I've been here for the past 8 years. So between owning homes and renting apartments, everything. And right now we're in Bentonville. We've really enjoyed that.
This is going to be, do you think this is probably one of your last moves?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Kids are in Bentonville schools. Yep. We've kind of got a nice cruise going on a little bit. So you know how it is. It gets hectic with life. So I've bounced around. I love each town for its own reason. We love Springdale. We were in kind of the Johnson area.
Yeah.
Really loved living in Springdale. When I lived in Fayetteville, I was a single guy. I lived in an apartment up close to Dixon. So that was a different time in my life for sure. And then now we're a little more settled down, of course. So that's cool. Great.
I like it. It fascinates me that you said you wanted to be in a place that has a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And I like that, what you said, because I think that kind of proves our area is that way, right? Not just physically, right? Yeah, we have buildings, apartments, houses, right? But the people, right? Yeah. People around us are in this area, at least I think. People that I've met, you, for example, today, you carry yourself in a way that you want to grow. And I really think that's an homage to Northwest Arkansas. It really does put it in a perfect way.
Yeah. And it's created who I am today for sure, helped in that way. So I think from the outside looking in, this is Walmart world and trails, right? Mountain bike world. But from the inside looking out, it's many nonprofits. It's a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, artists, right? And so this is a cool cultural place that far expands outside of corporate, USA. And so I've really found that this place to be an amazing place for the entrepreneur's journey in a sense. And so
I know Walmart definitely backs a lot of entrepreneurship in this area. They do. I know they definitely encourage that more than I guess different areas, right? But even then, we always talk in this episode, man, it's definitely family friendly. A lot of variety of different things from someone who may have been who's single to with their partner with no kids to a family with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it suits all those needs, to be honest with you. And that's pretty good.
I like it. I like it. And you mentioned entrepreneurship, right? You're a big entrepreneur.
Yeah.
well, I want to know now, right? You're doing your patio social thing.
Yeah.
Did that bring you back from Texas? Right, you were in Texas. You graduated.
Correct.
You came back. Was it because of your patio social?
No,
Or was
no,
it
it was
for
not
another
existent
reason?
at the time. Yeah, no, I came back. It was the move to Arkansas was first off, always been a Hogs fan because I was
Yes.
born in Rogers. My dad went to U of A, so kind of had that going for me. I was very familiar with this area. So no, the move back was to seek the kind of the next step for me. I started a very, very small company when I was in high school back in Texas called Pat's Hats, which if anyone's listening and knows about Pat's Hats, you got to comment or something, let us know. But
That's cool.
sold hats, printed hat designs around school and around town, and had some pretty cool, made a, I was a kid, a couple $1,000 maybe, right? Like, but just the building of the brand was this like exciting new world that I had never known before. I was an athlete. I played basketball and football. I was a kid that was a C student in school, right? When you're in school, sometimes you don't know what's out there. And so being able to build a brand was this really cool thing where I all of a sudden was like, oh my gosh, like building a company and what if I want to design a product. And so I just got deep into that world, and my mom was gracious enough to show me. She put me on some books and some masterminds and some things because she's been on the entrepreneurial journey for a while as well. So things just shaped up, and I was like, Arkansas is a place to be, so I'm gonna try it. Pat's Hats died when I moved here. I knew basically nobody except for a few connections I had from childhood. So I didn't carry on that brand, but started in real estate as a part of my journey, and then eventually Patio Communities has been up and running now for
How long now?
Yeah.
so we started hosting social events for real estate in 2021, so it's been 3 years,
Like
for almost 4 years.
kind of right after the COVID.
Post-COVID,
Yeah.
social events outdoors, right?
Right.
Because of being mindful of the breathing room and everything like
Right.
that. So, but we saw a need for connection. People needed to meet. You can only do so many Zoom calls. Zoom's great. We use it all the time, but it doesn't take the place of events and interaction in person. And so,
Yep.
did that kind of on a quarterly basis. Kind of got some mojo. Had events from 20 people to maybe 100 people. Last year in 2024 is when we rebranded as Patio Community. Patio Social was born. We got a complete redesign. We got merch. We got website. I have so many people to thank for all those things. We've got a lot of partnered businesses that have helped us kind of grow. And our biggest event so far has been about 225 people.
Wow. there you go.
Was that just recently?
Last year in August was what at Loma was our largest event.
Oh, yeah,
And we've
yeah,
continued.
yeah.
We did a big
I remember that.
shout out to Harris Heights. Actually gave away the PS5.
I remember that. Yeah,
PS5 giveaway.
Yeah.
Right as the new college football game came out, so I think people were hot on video games at that time. But and we've just continued to go, around 200 people per event since then, and made it our mission for 2025 to do monthly event with that many attendees or more. So we're accomplishing that so far. It's been awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Who is it more geared towards? I'm curious. Is it because you mentioned it first? It started off for just like a network,
Yeah,
for
for
real
sure.
estate agents, right?
Yeah.
And now I assume it's for anyone.
It's
right?
for anyone. So when we rebranded, we made it open, and the name Patio Social is really to encourage the community to come together. We want to connect the community. So it's for anyone. We're about 50-50 networkers versus just socializers. So a lot of people come, they're Walmart employees or they're retirees. They're not really networking for a specific benefit to themselves, but
Right.
more to be connected to the community in some
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
It's a great excuse to try new venues. We have events at brand new spaces, or a lot of times a barbecue joint or a place you've never been before. And it's a cool introduction to piece restaurants together with the community. And then we have sponsors for the events as well. So the small businesses that get branded as well. So it's kind of a threefold. We're connecting the community, we're benefiting the restaurant, and then small businesses, trying to keep everything local and
I like it.
just grow right here in
Yeah, I like
NWA. So it's been a cool
Can you
mission.
share who your sponsors are? or-
Absolutely. I think they would really appreciate that. But I'm not going to go off of memory because then I'll sound like an idiot. So I'm going to pull up exactly who my sponsors are. just so I don't miss anybody. You should have told me this before, dude. Come
So
on.
sorry.
Nah, I'm
Sorry. I just thought
I'm
of it
just
right now on a whim.
So we have 9 title, we call them co-hosts. So they get the opportunity to speak on the microphone at the event and talk about themselves for a minute or so. We have a rotating option for people to be the marquee sponsor, which is kind of the head-on sponsor. They get to be on the front page of all the branding and stuff. That differs each month. This month is Paint Innovators, company local in Springdale. They're really awesome. The owner is Rodney Barnes. He's a fantastic guy. Also the owner of Loma.
Oh,
He owns multiple businesses and he's fantastic. He's almost a mentor to me at this point. But Erica Young with Young's Moving Service, Dan Allred with EA Insurance, Nikki Tremonti with Waco Title, Rachel Corpella with NWAnetworking.com, Steve Ziegler with Blue Haven Pools, Craig Overton with Generations Bank, Debbie Corwin with NWA Getaway Dream Vacations, Brian Albrand with Bravo Roofing, and Jeremy Putz with Carmelita Catering Company. Those are our co-host sponsors.
Okay.
Shout out to all of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we have some amazing, just people that help us run the events. Juan Miller, Millhub Group, they designed our website for us before I'd even met him. And he actually approached me, said, I love what you guys are doing. I designed a website, check it out. Talk about value first. I tell everybody about that guy because he did a phenomenal job of just making it happen for us. And then we're like, well, yeah, we're going to use you. So anyways, some guys like that. And then, last thing, Monarch Visuals is our photographers. They're also real estate photographers, and they help us with our events as well.
Man.
Jeremy Miller and Diego. So,
Shout
yes, a lot of people involved.
Yeah,
but
I love it.
Dude, that is amazing. I love the it started off as something, I guess, a little bit smaller. And now you've impacted all these people throughout those years, throughout those months. And now they've kind of came back to you and said, hey, this is what I want to do for you guys.
Absolutely.
I believe in this cause. You can say, man, that's awesome.
They've impacted me, man.
That's amazing. So, oh man, we'll have to talk about that more, maybe offline, but man, that's amazing. That's cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sponsors are dope.
That being said, I'm very curious, what do you enjoy most about your role in the real estate world and also in the patio community? What do you feel like drives you the most about hosting them, putting it on?
I'm all about connection. From the time that I started, I was deep in the networking realm. I met a group of people. I got into a mob group similar to BNI, if you haven't heard of it. Still connected to a lot of those people to this day, people that we refer each other business. And so from starting out in real estate here, not knowing anybody, but getting into groups of people where they trusted me enough to send me real estate referrals, to networking through chamber events, to meeting friends of friends at, restaurant or bar that we go to, just mingling and hanging out. It's always been about that next connection. And so the Patio Social just is the thing that ties all that together. It's a huge event where we can really impact and meet as many people as possible and impact lives, help other business people do the same thing. So I really care about that side of it. I forgot what the question was. I just kept talking. What was the question again?
No, really, what do you enjoy most about your role with that patio community? Like, as the one that oversees it, leads it. What do you feel like is the biggest value that you get from it?
Dude, it's so, the events themselves are fun. I love building the business on the back end, how we handle our sign-ins for the events to the things we can give away. We're giving away a TV this month. If you guys want to go to the event on the 18th, it's going to be fun. Just the partnerships and everything like that. But I would say the thing that I care about right now most is something that we dove into when we were planning for 2025, which was putting on Patio Praise. Launching Patio Praise, which in a shrunk version is before each monthly Patio Social, we'll have a praise worship service before the event. Optional, of course, for people to attend. We did our first one in February, and we had about 20 people or so. We had a guy, my father-in-law, who's also sponsored, Dan Allred, talk about how he had a heart attack and should have died in December. It's a huge thing in our family, and just the testimony of him and how he's not done on this earth for a specific reason. and a buddy of ours, David Benjamin, who played the guitar for us, and we sang some songs. So Patio Praise is a thing that is drawing my attention and my passion so much more than just the socializing of the events that we do.
Ooh, wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So your father was a minister. He was
Yes.
in ministry, right? I want to dive in a little bit into your faith,
Okay.
if that's okay with you. First question, I guess, for me would be, how important has faith been for you with everything that you're doing, right? You know, your real estate career, the patio social, the patio. What was it? The patio praise.
Patio Praise.
Patio
Yeah.
praise. How
Thanks.
important is that faith to hold on to that faith? You think?
It's just the driving factor and the connector of everything in my life. Like every single thing, from the way that my family operates to the relationship I have with my wife, to my kids, to everything. And everything in this business is coming from a place of, or we're trying to, at least, from the Holy Spirit and being guided by that. And so, to answer your question, it's everything to me. That's where the idea of, Patio Praise came from. That's where, the patio social, and you talked about this a little bit, I think in one of y'all's episodes, is just the ability to perhaps in some other way versus sitting in church or sitting right on Sunday morning, being able to put out something that can potentially catch somebody's eye to going, oh, hey, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in what they're talking about. Why is he or they, why are they having a positive impact on the community in this way? What's going on? And for people to see our faith through our actions, what we're doing. And so it's been really cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
That already just, like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, we've only interacted, maybe one or two times. And, I've seen you on social media, but this is such like I said, an honor for us to have you here as well, and your time. But to hear that story just brings so much encouragement, brings so much passion. Because now that we've even had, roughly 30, 40 minutes together in this really, intimate way, it's like, man, I just want to, what can I do to support you even more, right? And the cause, right? And this, 100%. That's amazing.
Thank you guys. And thanks for, just from episode 1, you guys being vulnerable about where you're coming from, your goods, bads, and uglies, right? That encourages me to come in here and sit down and just be like, all right, I'm just going to talk about myself too then in that way. And I'm not going to put on a front. So, it goes back to, the vulnerability of you guys and what this conversation means. So the one thing I'd say, and I'm not here to preach, but, in time that I've spent in the Bible recently, I've been looking at the book of Acts. And as you guys know, Jesus dies, and it's Easter Sunday is coming up. So it's perfect time to talk about this. But Jesus dies, he's resurrected, and then he tells Peter, be a witness to me, right? Y'all need to know that Peter is a fisherman, an idiot. He's a goofball. He's spending his time basically trying to make a living for him, his wife, his cousin, his brother, right? He's falling short in his faith in every sense imaginable. And even worse, when Jesus dies, he denies him 3 times. So up until the point that they have this conversation, this dude is sinning, making mistakes, falling apart, still doesn't have it figured out. And then boom, he's told, I'm giving you the Holy Spirit, and you're going to go be a witness to me to the end of the earth. And then he speaks boldly, and he helps start the faith of Christianity. And that's an amazing thing, because we're a bunch of idiots sitting in this room right now. I don't know if y'all know it. I am, at least. I may not be able to speak for you, but we're just like him.
I feel that way too.
So,
I do.
And so,
yeah.
That's funny.
We can think in our heads that we're not worthy enough to.
You're an idiot.
Sorry to be brash. I've been told I do that sometimes, but really, it's just a reflection of me, right?
No, I get you.
The way I feel about myself, and so we can all make a difference in this world. I think that's the lesson to learn. So.
I love it there. Yeah. I love the way you say that. Everyone can make a difference in this world, and I think that's so true, because even if you impact someone with what maybe you thought was minor or not a big deal, maybe to that person, it changed their whole perspective, and maybe their whole world is going to change from that moment on, right? So you can always impact everyone around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like saying that, because for a long time, And I think we talked about this in one of the episodes. For a while, I struggled with faith, right? I didn't have that faith for a long time. And, I had my reasons. My dad got sick, he was cancer, maybe I'm just complaining, wanting to be a victim, right? But anyways, for a while, I had that mentality. And hearing the perspective from somebody who's been ingrained with faith for so long and how much of a positive impact it is on you, for me, I find that pretty valuable, right? I'm growing my faith right now. I think being entwined with faith and implementing into your daily life, I think what do you lose? You know what I mean? I think it's such a positive and beneficial thing for everyone. So I'm glad you brought that up, and the way you spin it is just perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you
I like
for saying
it.
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're right. And sometimes it's the funniest thing because we learn from somebody else, and that person was just rambling, talking, and then they walk away and they don't even know that they just planted a seed inside of us going, oh my gosh, that person has faith, or that person just shared some knowledge with me that I had no idea. And they're just like, I have a friend named, he's a fellow realtor at Harris Heights with us. His name's Denny, and he's got incredible faith. But we met recently, and I wanted to shout out Denny as well. They're having a baby in the next week. So him and his wife are expecting. So
awesome.
Anyways, but he's a guy with incredible faith that will just talk and go and go and go, right? And you're like, wow, do you think about anything else besides Jesus? And it's kind of funny in that way. But after we met, he told me that he appreciates my faith. And I'm like, dude, I think that about you, right? You're leading me right now. And so
that's funny.
The combination of the impact in our conversation, it impacted us both. I thought that was really interesting. And by the way, with the Patio social, I know we talked about, like, I think you met Thomas first, or you didn't meet him first, but we met at the same time, but you had a conversation with him originally, right?
Right.
Thomas is he's someone that has just helped us in every way imaginable upgrade who we are and the mission that we've put on with the Patio social and everything like that. He's a super faith-based guy as well. And I love it. Being right there next to me has helped tremendously with my courage and speaking out. And so I had to shout him out as well. Shout out to Thomas.
Thomas, for real.
Working away today.
He's finding he's finding his new shampoo. No, I remember meeting
that
you guys.
Bald head, man. Love you.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nothing but love, man.
That's awesome.
I remember meeting you guys at I think it was Scotch and Soda, about almost
the Agent Social. Yeah,
the Agent Social. I remember that, and man, I was like, we just joined the circle. Francisco was there. Was one of my first outings as a new real estate agent, right? So it was like that's how we met. Just that brief.
You're that new?
Yeah.
Wow. So what year?
About a year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yep.
And how long have you been in the business?
I'll be coming up on 3 years this September, November, around there. So about 2 years, a little over 2 years.
Young bucks, man.
Yeah,
Come on. Welcome.
We're youngins in the game, man.
Awesome.
You have any referrals, man? Bring them over.
Yeah, right.
This guy,
think about it. Yeah.
Every time this guy, I'm telling him I want to buy a house, he's like, man, I know a guy.
Yes.
I know a guy. Yeah, let me know.
That's
shameless audacity, dude.
That's
absolutely. That's great.
So you got a real ingrained history in Northwest Arkansas, and we've touched on it just a little bit in this episode, but I want to know, in your opinion, what makes NWA so different as compared to other local communities?
Yeah, when I was young, I didn't realize the great place that we lived in until I moved away. And I love Texas as well. I've got many family members across Texas, so nothing needs that. But I love Arkansas. And I can remember from a young age, one of the coolest things about our area is we joked about getting the 4 seasons in 1 week, right? But we get 4 seasons. We get summer of fun. When you're a kid, you get a summer of fun and you get a winter of snow, and right, and you get this balance. And I think that's really cool. My earliest memories are the neighborhood that I mentioned, Bloomfield, I grew up in, was amazing. I had many friends that lived right there in the neighborhood, and we were the kids that rode our bikes everywhere, ran around barefoot. And someone asked me if I even owned shoes, because we were always just, the weather was perfect. There was no, fire ants weren't attacking me. It wasn't mosquitoes. Like, it was just, you're out there having fun. And I love that about Arkansas. Arkansas really is a natural state. And we forget that sometimes. We live here. We take advantage of that. But it's a beautiful place to live. mountainous views, of course, the trails, and everything in between. So I've loved that part about Arkansas. And coming from Texas, it gets much hotter there. They don't really get snow. Not fun at all. And between sticker burrs and fire ants, it's really not fun to run around barefoot either. So I'm telling you guys, if you haven't thought about that just a little bit, walk outside barefoot and go, oh, okay. All right. Arkansas's got something to offer. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about that.
I love it, man. That's, we love hearing the perspective that our guests give about, what makes Northwest Arkansas different from other areas. And I love it. It's just so they're similar in a sense, but they're completely different too. It could be weather, it could be activities, it could be, I love the city, but I don't want the skyscrapers feel. Right. Right. And the community, another one, a really big one that a lot of people say is community here, connecting people. And I think we had a guest last week who was saying she was from oh my God, somewhere in Dallas. I don't remember exactly.
It's man, I'm hitting a blank.
I just don't remember what area it was.
So somewhere, I think it was outside of Dallas.
Yeah,
somewhere outside of Dallas. I don't remember exactly.
And they were going to move up here because her husband was going to get a job relocated with Walmart, and one of her concerns was like, oh man, we love where we live now. Everyone's so nice, and we're going to miss that.
Yeah.
And then they came here and they found that they were even nicer.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. But
I love that.
It's that Southern hospitality, man. It's real nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
I love it, man.
Earlier you were talking about, we were talking about Patio Social and Patio Praise and how that's your focus on, generally speaking, but especially now this year more. Is that also what's different from last year and this year, or what do you have, if you have anything planned for next year already?
Yeah, no, that's great. 2020 end of the year last year, we made some executive decisions, some things that we were going to attack, and kind of we set some goals, and Patio Praise was one of those goals. Mm-hmm. We've accomplished that, and we're going to continue to grow that. We're going to host a big event, we're going to host a biannual big event. So one in June, one in December.
Okay.
And we're setting our sights on, currently we have, 200 people, give or take, show up to our socials. We're going to host a much bigger event with a couple hundred people at least showing up. We're looking at doing, some sort of outdoors or parking lot setup with vendors, music, live band, stuff like that.
Very cool.
So we're going to really try to bring in the masses with a big event, beyond just one location, one restaurant, right? And then on the complete flip side of that, when this is launched, it will have already happened, but we're this month we're hosting our first pop-up event, which is the exact opposite, which is a controlled small event for a restaurant or venues that can't hold as many as 200 people. So a venue that's occupancy might be 50 to 100 people. We're going to do a pop-up event, still partner with these venues and give them traction and business and all the benefits of having a social, but with less people.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of a sign-up only, kind of an exclusive event,
right?
And so we're really trying to catch all the grades as far as whether it's a small event, cut and dry. There's 50 people there. Whether it's 1,000 people booked out a venue, right? The AMP. That's something we want to do down the line that I'm speaking into existence. But
I love it.
But yeah, so those are a couple things we're chasing.
I can see that happening. I feel like I can see the AMP. Patio Social, like on a beautiful
gorgeous,
weekend or
like
weekday,
during the summer or something.
And it's just like,
absolutely,
dude, that'd be awesome.
It would be incredible, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're already envisioning having a group of, or not a group, an event, excuse me, of more than what you normally do with about 200 people, right? You're expecting more. And I mean, I can, like, if you do very well with that, which I have no doubt you will, that'll put you on track, I should say, to maybe
to be able to grow and do something
and go towards the Walmart. And that'll be real dope if
that would be
happens.
cool. Yeah,
that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
I can see it happening, dude.
Yeah, food trucks outside. I mean, and then I know they do their own food as well.
Yeah,
but just generally too. I mean, get more.
I'm excited about the possibilities.
That's cool.
We've been connected with some of the right people, so we're having those conversations behind the scenes, and y'all just be on the lookout. Maybe the next couple of years, we'll see. Sure. I don't know. Who knows how long it'll take.
All I know is that my fiance and her family love anything related to going out to a social event out in the summer. And I know many people are that way also. So I can see it being very popular with the masses.
Bring them to one of the socials. It's a really good time.
Yeah, my father-in-law, I'll call him that. He owns a concrete company, and man, that guy. Anywhere I'm with him, he'll at least see one person he'll recognize.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Typical. Start talking.
That's
so I think he'll love an event like that for sure.
Absolutely. Come on.
That's awesome, man.
So one of the things that we have on here is giving the guest an opportunity for a shout out. But earlier we did, or at least you did some sort of a shout out with the Patio Social.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that you're wanting to give a shout out to? And again, even for our listeners here, this is I think sometimes we we can't get everyone in the shout out, and that's not a bad thing. Just sometimes it may not just come to mind.
People or places or what?
Either or. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give a shout out to I'm going to give a shout out to a venue that's seasonal, that opened for the season last week. They're called The Bend. If you haven't heard of them, they're in Bentonville.
Okay.
They're on one of the trails. Biker friendly to come stop in, have some beers, hang out. It's a really cool outdoor space with, cornhole and a big deck. You can hang out, order food. Really cool space. So shout out to them and the management group that runs this venue and a lot of the venues that we host our events at. They're called the Good Gravy Group, and I have to shout them out as well for being such great partners with us. A couple of the venues we've been at lately have been some of theirs, and they do a knockout job. So perfect. So with that being said, the Bend and Good Gravy Group, shout out to them. Robin, Lindsay, April, AJ, all those people. Thank you guys for everything.
Nice, man. I love it.
You bet.
Love it. You gotta be one of the first guests, I think, that shared the actual names.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and again, and I understand why people might feel bad, if they don't say a certain someone, or maybe they forget.
Sure.
It's really an opportunity, like the way I look at it, and Enrique, let me know. I'm curious to see what you think, because we never really talked about it. But I thought the shout out, right? Like the podcast is us, like me and you, having a guest on and shouting out the guest. But again, sometimes guests, at least I think that the guest would say, hey man, there's someone who, it could be my wife, could be my partner, could be, my business partner and so forth. And just say, man, I thank you for this and that. And it's just an opportunity to really, to share that kind of extension, right, from us to you and then you to them.
Absolutely.
And kind of do that. But yeah, definitely not in a bad way. Like, oh man, I forgot to say my bank. I forgot to say my, I don't know, my babysitter, it's like, no, sure. It's kind of more of a, again, if you remember, awesome, but it's really just to kind of continue passing that
right.
from us to you, and then say, you know what, man, I have this 1 hour to just, because obviously it's live. It's going to go live at one point, and it's like, oh, thank you for saying that. That's really what it's for. So, but yeah, definitely not to be like, oh, I forgot to say something.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot to say what that lender.
It's not the Oscars speech. You don't have to get every single person.
That's funny. Yeah, I think Juan Carlos put it in a perfect way. It's kind of like for a self-reflection, almost like somebody who's had a big impact in your life and in our life. And how we're paying them giving them their flowers, if you will, right? Like let them know, like,
absolutely,
man, you helped me out with my life, man. You gave me my debit card, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
So the teller, like, what I mean. So things of that nature, but yeah, don't feel bad if you just happen to be forgotten. I mean, you're not. That sounds kind of harsh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll add this, and you mentioned them in the intro as my wife and just the beginning. So my wife, one of the goals with their nonprofit. So my wife was in foster care. Mm-hmm. She was adopted into the family that she's with now, and so she has a deep passion for those who, struggle to get out of that system, whether not adopted and aged out of foster care, which is a huge deal, leads to homelessness and addiction, things of that nature. And then helping those that are incarcerated, so women and children who are in the system. So when my wife was born, she was born in a penitentiary. She was born in a prison. Her parents were both, unfortunately, addicts. And so she knows firsthand, and she was able to obviously be adopted and kind of cultivate a beautiful life with the Allred family. Mm-hmm. But she's got a deep driven passion to help people who weren't able to make it out or have been struggling and still kind of in the system. And so as a man who was raised by really good parents whom I love and who took me in the right direction. It's hard for me to fully see that that's even an issue in the first place. So for her to not only go, oh yeah, I came from that and I made it out and I'm never going back there again, to also say, now I want to go back in, see who I can minister to, who I can help, who I can save, right?
Yes.
Who's in the system, if you will. Big shout out to her and her vision on that. So I will say shout out to my wife, but not just for supporting me. Oh, thanks for supporting me. Yeah, she's an amazing support, but she's also driven in her own ways and fulfilling a calling that is very scary to a lot of people. So
that's amazing. That's powerful. Would definitely support that cause as well. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Didn't know
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just found out even minutes before you arrived. I was just kind of looking at your profile, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know about it. So
it's pretty awesome. They're on the up and up. They've done some fundraising. They're very, very early on in the process. So, but you'll be hearing more of it. And
cool. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah,
she's doing
looking forward to that for sure. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, Patrick, something we like to do in this podcast is we love to highlight our guests and highlight their backstory, how they got to where they are today. But we also want to pay a little bit of an homage to our area, right? Northwest Arkansas. I get curious, and everyone's answer is always different to this question whenever we ask it. And I'm curious to know your perspective because you're a native here in our area. Yeah. So let's say you have family or friends that have never been here. What is kind of like your go-to description of NWA if they're going to be visiting here for the very first time?
I think there's a culture of, and I mentioned it earlier, I think there's beyond the corporate world and even the outdoors world with mountain biking and exciting outdoor things to do. I think there's a culture of giving in this area. And you mentioned as well that someone who is coming from a southern town saying, I don't want to lose the southern hospitality of the town that I'm coming from, Dallas or Texas, to come here and say, I'm experiencing that. But twofold is such a, it's a shout out to Northwest Arkansas. So it's a lovely place. We have a growing, diverse culture. We have an awesome outdoors nature scene and really fun things to do. And I love the nonprofit work. I love the faith-based work that's happening here and the entrepreneurial spirit, whether that's in, the small business, the restaurant world. I do feel like we have a diverse restaurant scene here, from high end to, mom and pop shop. And so I support the drivenness of people in Northwest Arkansas and the entrepreneurial nature of people in the real estate world. And we have a really cool real estate world as well. Plenty of developments popping up, as you guys know, and opportunity there for investors, realtors alike to come in and succeed. It's a really healthy economy here. And so that's really what I tell people. And I tell them it's far more than what you imagine Arkansas is like. Right. I think you guys agree, right?
Yeah,
probably wouldn't have just came to Arkansas unless you had really seen it and experienced it. So you have to experience it. And so,
Yeah, I like it. I think I brought this up, I think a couple episodes ago. I don't know if you've seen this online, but sometimes people will put a meme out there and it'll be like, I'm driving through Arkansas and it's like a random state trooper on the side, Dollar General.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah,
and it's like a road.
Southern Arkansas.
Yeah. And so, and I think a lot of people have that vision, right? But our area is a little bit unique in the sense that it's so different, but it incorporates all the aspects that we're talking about, right?
I really feel that in maybe in the next decade, I think Fort Smith is going to start becoming a different Fort Smith.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think a lot of it is just as time comes by, I think, Fort Smith is going to get some of that, what maybe.
That's so interesting you say that.
Northwest Arkansas 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I feel that. I don't know.
It's really interesting because Little Rock's always been Little Rock.
Right.
Big town, the capital. Fort Smith really got a lot of traction before Northwest Arkansas was big, and people moved there, and there was job opportunities and stuff. And then Fayetteville, right, Bentonville, Northwest Arkansas really kind of took the cake. And so it's interesting you say that. I do wonder how the River Valley area grows as we expand so big to almost take up too much space. Is Fort Smith going to be the new, right outside of Dallas town that thrives and succeeds and stuff? So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that.
I know,
a lot of people I've talked to, and me personally as well. I remember a while ago I was looking at properties down in Fort Smith just to get an idea of what they cost, and
much less,
a lot less compared to our area, right? And so I understand the appeal of wanting to go down there because there's a realtor that's on Facebook. Her name is Chastity Martin. I don't know if you know who, if you've heard of her before.
Okay.
She's with Fathom. I don't know if you've heard of her,
Cool.
Juan Carlos.
Mm-mm.
But I mean, she does very well for herself out there. You know, she's got a lot of clients, and I think it just kind of proves that people are maybe looking for a different area, so to speak, in terms of housing.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, like Juan Carlos said, I
Yeah.
think it will be booming here in the next maybe decade.
Decade,
or so.
yeah. I don't know. I just feel that way. I think
Cool.
everything
It's a bold prediction. I like that.
as trickling down. You know, anything if people getting out of this area, they're going to go down to that area, maybe for housing costs or for different opportunities, different businesses. But I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
But earlier we were talking about shout outs, for a restaurant. You mentioned the Bend or so, and I think that's a great spot. Yeah, it's here in Bella Vista. But what's one of your favorite go-to spots in this area? Like you and your wife, the kids, you're like, hey, this is, or your family comes into town and you're like, man, I want to take them to this spot.
Yeah.
Or if you have a favorite coffee shop or brewery or anything like that, what would that be? I'm curious. So you would also have to know a lot of them. You probably know.
I know a lot of them.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, us just in real estate, we know a lot of them, right?
True.
Us being in the events business. I put out an article on NWA Daily, partnered with them about the top 10 venues to host events at.
Mm-hmm.
So I can yield to the article in saying that Loma, Mexican cuisine in Rogers, is a absolutely fantastic terrace. They have kind of higher end cuisine.
Yep.
Very nice place, nice drinks. For an event, for an outdoor, you want to sit with a group of people and hang out. That is probably my favorite. The overall favorite of the Patio community as a body is a place called Table on 6th, which is the sister restaurant to Table Mesa, right?
Correct.
And people loved that place when we hosted an event there. And so that's another good one.
That is a great one.
My wife and I frequent Mojitos Mexican in Rogers.
Mojitos is
kind of a no-brainer. Local Lime. And then we also go to the other restaurant, Big Orange.
Oh yeah.
As well. So
good.
There's some regular spots. For
the regular spots, right?
Yeah.
That's just me. Me and my family.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, you named some really good ones. Mojitos, Local Lime.
I'm a sucker for chips and salsa, and judge me if you will, but that's how I am.
Like my younger brother says, man, that's bussin'. He said. So
if we have a second, I mentioned a few Mexican or restaurants.
Yeah.
You guys being Hispanics, I'm just going to say it. Where do y'all go? Do you go where all the freaking white people go? And you can cut this out of the segment if you want, but where do you go when you go? That's the best tacos or that's the best
Taco Bell. Right.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I go to Taco Bell. Yeah.
I do love Taco Bell, but no, man, if I want, in my opinion, an authentic plate of tacos, it's right on 8th Street. It's a little grocery store, a little Mexican grocery store. It's called La Taranda. I don't know if you've heard of them before.
I haven't.
So they're right on 8th Street. There's an O'Reilly's there. They're kind of behind the O'Reilly's in a way. But I go there because in that little grocery store in the very back, there's a little restaurant there, and they sell tortas, tacos, burritos. They sell a bunch of different Mexican cuisines.
Yes.
And I love that spot, man. If you want some real authentic Mexican food, you gotta go there.
I would agree.
And shout out to my suegra and my fiance Emma. They put me on that spot.
That's the spot.
My suegra, she loves El Taranda. Yeah, she loves El Taranda. If you want to make her day a little more special, you go to her house with a plate of tacos from Taranda. So
nice.
I love it. That's what I would recommend for a nice little Mexican spot.
Dude, all right. So, I'm a half Peruvian, half Salvadorian, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to give out the pupusa plug.
Yes, let's go.
For real. It's a Jicaro, which is over on...
that place is good, too.
Dude, it's on Dixieland.
It's
Dixieland and...
It's good there.
Oh, my gosh. It's Dixieland and what else? Where the waffle...
Is it close to Walnut? It's off of Walnut.
Oh, okay. So Dixieland and Walnut. Yeah. And it's behind the Unified Bank.
Yeah.
Or local, or what is it? Credit Union.
Mm-hmm.
It's right behind there. So shout out to them. Their pupusas, I think, are... Man, if you know, you know. You can't beat your... I grew up with them, and I grew up with them. All my
try to beat your mama's food, right?
Theirs is right there. If I get my mom's is a 10s, theirs is a 9.
They're really good there.
They're really good, and they're priced correctly, which I think are like $2.
And the good thing about that place too, it's not just pupusas that they sell.
They do.
They have all Central American cuisine, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome.
It's funny because I'm Honduran, right? He's half Salvadoran, and our cultures are very, very similar.
Sure.
What changes a little bit is the food, right? But
Yeah.
man, that place, it's so good there.
Yep.
Anytime I want to take my parents out, I'll take them there. They love it there.
And I would say, and so that would be my plug for like Central American food, Salvadoran food. And then honestly, we go to Mojitos a lot.
Yeah.
They hit the spot.
Good stuff, man.
Great service, great price, and then generous portions is what I say, and flavor.
I agree with that.
So to me, it's like they're fast every time, whether they're busy or slow. Great portions. I usually take some home, and then they're served. I love the people there.
Yeah.
I don't know their names off the top of my head, but every time I see them, I just love interacting with them.
I second that.
Yeah, Hikaro, man, that place is
Hikaro,
fire. You got to go there. You got to check it out. But Patrick, we're nearing the end of the episode here, and we have a little segment here just to kind of tie in all the episodes. And I'm sure you've kind of caught on to it since you've listened to a few of them. So the previous guest will always leave a question for our current guest, right?
Okay.
So yesterday we had Coach Smith on as a guest. He was a facilitator of mine. And the question he left for you, Mr. Patrick, he said, if you could go back 20 years, what would you tell yourself? And you can only say one sentence.
20 years, I would have been 6 years old. Wouldn't have known much.
Buy that house.
Yeah, for sure. Jokes aside, invest in Walmart stock. But
he said Bitcoin.
He said Bitcoin.
That would have been probably smart.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a professional athlete, so commit to something that really drives you and perfect your craft outside of who you are through other people in your life.
That's good. That's powerful. Yeah.
He was thrown together, but
I like it.
Coach Smith said, he's like, if you can leave a note to yourself, what would that be? Can you imagine walking in your bedroom and you just see this note? You're not going to be an athlete.
Yeah.
I'd be like, bro, who left this here?
I'd probably cry, but then maybe kind of come around like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you're like, who was this in my room?
Yeah.
I'd be a little sketchy. I'm like, who was in here? Man?
Dad, I know. No, my older brother, right?
That's
like,
funny.
shut up, dude.
So now, Pat, you have to leave a question for our next guest, which I don't know who it is, but any question you.
Now, is every guest local here?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about Northwest Arkansas to make it better, what would it be?
Ooh, okay. We had a similar question like that just a few episodes ago.
Okay.
You can change.
I'm curious to know if someone leans towards fixing traffic or, infrastructure or, a better lake, like what someone would say.
I find it funny because whenever I talk to like cousins or friends or whatever, the biggest thing that at least that I hear is the roads. Like one road that a lot of people complain about is the Walnut Road, kind of going up on 8th Street, that intersection. That road, they think is very narrow.
Yes.
And
you're right.
And I agree, right? It's narrow. And on top of that, it's got like potholes, I think, especially when you're nearing that light. So
which
I'm
surprised.
Imagine a life where all the road construction is done and ready for you for the next 50 years of growth in the area. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be great.
Like, there's nobody on the side of the road with a jackhammer, with cones, like redirecting. Like, there's plenty of space for everybody.
Right.
Like, we could conquer the world if we had that alone.
And
no traffic.
And I'm a roundabout guy.
Yeah.
Like, I love roundabouts. I know some people have troubles with them, but I kid you not, the more I've seen with them and they just keep traffic flowing, I'm all for it.
Steady pace. Keep moving.
Keep moving. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I like it. Yeah. Well, we're at the end basically here for our episode. So again, for our audience, when we're not recording podcasts, we're out helping our clients, and Patrick here as well. If you don't want to look at our faces every day from calling tonight, you can look at our handsome friend here, Patrick. Give him a call. But yeah, we're out here helping them out with their real estate needs. So if you need assistance or questions, feel free to reach out, man. And again, follow us on all of our social media. Our Instagram is NWA Podcast. You can find our local Instagram pages as well as Patrick's information. So again, Patrick, thanks so much for joining us. We had a great time.
Man. Thanks for having us, guys. Y'all are a blessing to Northwest Arkansas. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that comment, man. It's an honor. So thank you for being here, man. But everyone, take care, and we'll talk to you soon. See you on the next episode.